Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Tuesday, 17th of June. We have established quorum. First item of business is to approve the meeting minutes from May 20th, 2025.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from May 20th, 2025.
Second. I said second.
Okay.
Did you say it at the same time I did?
I'll look at you for a second. All in favor, aye.
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 I recognize when person is not on the agenda. Just giving you the opportunity, Vaughn.
Oh, I don't know what to say.
Okay. Any conflict of interest, ex parte declarations?
No.
Negative for all three. Public hearing action, none. New business, none. Old business is our favorite thing to talk about. Land use chart discussion.
Okay. So first of all, I'll just give you an overview because we failed to include what all these red and yellow and white lines meant. So I tried to simplify it to make it understandable. Anything that you see as red was something that we have determined we want to strike out of the land use chart altogether. Anything that you see that is white is existing in the current land use chart. And if you see that it's yellow, there were some changes within that line, so you will see a duplicate such as dwellings commercial in white and then dwellings commercial in yellow. And that means there were some changes within there. You'll see in this particular instance, currently it's all permitted in C1, 2, 3, and 4, but under our proposed changes, we chose conditional in the R4 zone.
Okay.
So that is just kind of gives you a layout of what it was. So to help you better understand the changes we're making. So if it's also in red, it's something we're either striking out or adding. It's something also in a change of some sort.
Okay.
So having said that, now that you understand my madness here, I don't know if we want to go over it or you guys just want to kind of have time to digest what it is. And then we re-look at it at the next meeting.
Okay.
And go through it. Also, I would like to note that unfortunately we included the wrong definitions. Those were given to you today and are in your
These.
yes, at your seats. So those were not included in here. The ones that are in here are not the ones that we were
Oh,
looking
okay.
at.
So the ones in the packet are not the right
Correct.
ones. They're
Correct.
these.
You're
Okay.
right. And then the zoning districts, there was one change that we did not get made, and that was in the R2, where we were removing townhomes from that zone.
Okay.
So I think, I know Nicole went through this pretty well. She listened to all the meetings. We believe we kind of have everything down, but I would like for you all to look through it just to make sure that we didn't miss something. So, as clearly we didn't in that one. And just to make sure that we all agree that, yes, this is what we want. And if we want to have any further discussion, we can certainly do that later or today, whatever you wish. But also, I did want to, I handed out the temporary uses and or structures ordinance, which would be the 9-9-26. I gave that to you today, just so we could kind of look at the manufactured commercial units. I assume that means commercial. There's nothing within our code that defines that. I couldn't find a definition for that. So I believe it pertains to these temporary structures. So that's something if you want to look through again, kind of look at the land use chart and see if it makes sense that it stays, or we just leave that in there and put C 9-9-26. And there may need some clarity that needs to be done in 9-9-26 as well. Because it does say temporary structures and temporary outdoor sales require a conditional use permit and or license. But as you read down through there, it appears that conditional use permits are, so.
Okay.
And so, anyway, that is kind of what I have for you. If you see it in the green, that just means it was something we didn't talk about. It was unnecessary to talk about, such as garages and carports, because they're permitted accessories. And then such as the accessory buildings, and then again we get back to temporary structures, and so which goes to 9-9-25. But I could not find anything with regards to manufactured commercial units. Again, I assume the COMM refers to commercial.
So, Ms. Brenda, on just temporary use and structures. So it has a lot of shall not do or shall be removed and that kind of language in it. Who manages this as far as enforcement? Like,
Well, it would depend. It would be, if something's there, right, and it's a code enforcement issue that's already there, code enforcement would address it. If it's something that somebody is seeking a permit for, then it would be building official.
yeah, because I was just like the one that caught my eye with garage sales where it says not more than 3 days. I've seen some around town that's
Yeah.
been like on a permit closeout. So
And that's kind of hard to manage
Yeah.
sometimes because you don't know when the first one started,
exactly.
right? So,
Interesting. And I think it's funny that the garage carport, we didn't touch that. So that a garage carport in a temporary use, like say somebody puts up a tent or puts up a carport, like that's permitted, right?
right. Because it's a residential use, accessory structure, but not residential in its use as in livable.
Got
No
it.
one's living in it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. Well, so as we go down the list, I see some of the things already here that we've talked about. Obviously, things like the duplexes and the townhouses and all that stuff. I see, of course, that we discussed the PUD R3. I mean, we've had several discussions between Rotor and Topher as well. So, do you guys have any questions on any of this?
No.
I don't know. You're gonna think I'm gonna stick in mud. I'm sorry, but just looking at this, it's like, so are we? If I'm reading this right,
Which are what
on the temporary use and structures,
Okay.
temporary structures and temporary outdoor sales will require a conditional use permit or license. So that the move of the city, that if I have a yard sale, I'm just hypothetically, I gotta get a permit from the city to have a yard sale.
No, well,
That's how this reads.
right, and I also
interpret it.
gave you this just because it could apply to the temporary commercial units. Tonight, we're not talking about
Oh
the
no
garage sales or
no
anything.
no! I just saw that. I'm like,
Yeah. So, but that's the only reason I gave you that tonight. So.
hold on, I'm trying to get too much in mud. I just saw that and it kind of got my mind spinning on the, like she was saying.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Schroeder,
So
senior.
this, you did have you may want to take temporary structures uses. I think this temporary uses and or structures this mostly talks about uses, doesn't discuss structures very much.
Right, that's what's it's a little bit.
Yeah, so this
May need
needs
some
this
work
needs
in
an
and of
overhaul.
itself, yes.
This needs an overhaul, and it needs to be overhauled to be consistent with your land use chart is
Right.
wanting to address structures, and so we need a section in 9926 that discusses structures, separate from uses that are temporary. And frankly, the temporary uses thing is a little problematic and could use some tweaking. But I know an intern who just rewrote the land use table and the definition section for the entirety of the city of council's zoning code, which we adopted last
Well, we
week.
need to make a motion for that, Mr.
How beneficial is that for us?
What, for,
That you know someone?
oh, I could put him on that task.
That sounds fantastic.
That sounds. All in favor?
Aye.
I hear say thanks, Dad.
He has recent familiarity. He took an entire definition section from another city and imported it into that city's code and then crosswalked it against where all those definitions are used in that new city code. So it was a lot of work, but he's just that way when he's not doing crime in court.
He's doing crime in court.
prosecuted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, personally?
Do you hear him say thanks, Dad?
Wait a
I don't know if
minute.
I'm hearing that coming from
Is this
the
the right
back.
council we need?
What's that?
So I think that would be a great idea. I mean, especially, so one of the reasons why we're going over all of this is because you have always told us that it is our responsibility as a planning and zoning collective to go through these definitions, to go through the comp plan and change it as we grow. So, I mean, with that being said, are we going to start tackling the comp plan and going through section by section and revising any of that stuff?
The comp plan is a whole different animal.
Okay.
And so, yes, it does need to be addressed and should be coming up within this next year that we'll be looking at the comp plan.
That's what, a 10-year
Separately
rotation?
From the code.
Okay.
It's on a 10-year rotation, isn't it, or due date, 5?
5 years.
Because I remember Schroeder saying something along the lines that we need to be looking at it not just every 5 or 10 years, but we should be referring to it.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, Mr. Schroeder Senior.
Unless you're, unless you have a city ordinance that limits it to no more frequently than every 6 months, you can update your comp plan every day if you want.
Okay.
So if there's a thing in the comp plan that needs to be fixed today, you can fix it today, if you want. You have to do notice and hearing, so it's 15 days publication, and then public hearing on it, and then a resolution has to be passed by the recommendation of yours has to be sent to the city council. Then they pass a resolution adopting the amendment to the comp plan.
Got it.
So there's no real limitation on how frequently you can do that.
Okay.
Any questions, Tom?
No, sir. No, I don't. Thank you for asking.
Well, just wanna,
Want to make sure.
make sure. So, our action plan, I mean, since we really don't just take it back and review it, then our next meeting's gonna be July
July 1.
1. Is that a holiday?
No, it's.
Oof, I know a guy who cannot be here.
I remember our neighbors used to think it was a holiday.
Well, thanks.
Maybe Paul can.
Okay, I'll need some.
Charlie Crockett and I have a date at Outlaw Field. So.
Oh,
Maybe we need to position the board to see if, I mean, don't answer now, but just make sure we have a quorum for that, because,
I'll be
I
around.
certainly hope so. We have published notices for hearings.
oh, well, that
Fun.
means cupcakes.
And if it push comes to shove, he wasn't at the top of my concert list, so I could always sell tickets.
Wait, what?
But I'm not doing that for Lyle Lovett or Allison Krauss in Union State.
You're gonna have to send me your date, so.
Okay.
Have your intern
Concert
send
this
the calendar, or,
Oh, he has a limited license and he knows this stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Never mind. We got it.
You got it covered.
Surprise.
Daddy cake.
So glad.
it feels like we just beat it up on them tonight. Any questions on, department head items?
No.
I had a question on the building permits. Is this up until last week, or is this solely for the month of May?
Just May.
Okay. Oh, I see a little bit of April in there too. So. Okay.
Is it picking up in the summer, or is it?
I think we had like 20 something
For
last
June?
month.
Well,
June we're at like 4 or 5 right now, so.
And imagine that the violations have been 161 in weeds.
it is that time of year.
It is growing season.
I got it fixed, okay.
So if we can just go back, Mr. Chair, if we can go
Yeah.
back to the land use chart for a moment. So do you want to revisit this and also have Jeff volunteer his aide
Yeah.
to look this over? Is that what I,
That's what, yeah,
my understanding is, Mr. Schroeder?
Senior.
You agree?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can do that.
Then on the department head items, can we get updated water, just how many water shares we got left or water EDUs? I know it's picking up, but just, we started getting a lot of, applications just, since we haven't really saw it in a while.
Mr. Chair, at our July 1st meeting, we will have a residential development that's coming forward.
Okay.
And in that staff report, I will include the number of building permits that have been issued and EDUs since January. And so when we did the waste, in January, when
Yeah.
they came forward with the wastewater from Keller and Associates, they
Yeah.
said we had roughly 1,400. So that will kind of help for wastewater.
Okay.
So that'll kind of help you to tell you where we are.
Okay.
In that. So that will be in that document, but if you want me to bring that something forward
Yeah, 'cause if it's
every meeting, we could probably do that as well.
I'm just thinking, unless y'all just ready to let, it's on the big developments like that, because that's always gonna be a question that the public's gonna ask.
Right.
So if we arm with the information, we have it ahead of time. Anything, Mr. Rock?
Anytime you can ask
Well,
me.
what's this
Bill?
going down the list?
No, Mr. Bill, I do not.
Alright.
No, Mr. Billy. Oh, the other thing is
Beat me to it.
so are we gonna be getting this development impact fee advisory committee? Are we getting this every single time that we come out here?
So I provided that to you simply so you are in the know of what is happening with the Impact Fee Advisory Board, because some of the things that they will do will be recommended, and planning and zoning will have to make a recommendation to city council on those.
Got it.
That way you're just kept in the know with what they're doing and
Oh,
so
so
we
this,
don't surprise you with like something big and then you're scrambling to understand what all we're doing.
okay, so this was probably in regards to the whole Elmore County, emergency services as well?
Well, that particular one I sent you,
Uh-huh.
that one was just informational. Tomorrow we'll be meeting strictly with the Impact Fee Advisory Board, and their own concerns.
Oh,
Things
okay.
that they want to discuss. That
Got
way
it.
you're just in the know of what things may affect planning and zoning as well.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions? Anything for us outside of our homework?
No?
Nope.
All right.
That adjourn at 5.